Miss Lisa Ann.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How's your day going?
So far, so good. Now we just have the fun part, the hardcore.
Yes.
Get all the stills, our little, what makes it all come together that we would actually be having sex randomly on camera. It has to be a story. It doesn't just mean a bunch of people get together and have sex, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Couldn't just be porn stars meet at location, have sex.
well, they do that from time to time, but it's usually only for like the big butts or big boobs, like
Yeah, so or something with baby oil.
Anything with
baby oil dissolves an entire pickup. If there's a bottle of baby oil on set, I look at everybody, I go, hate the baby oil, love the no pickup thing.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah, well, at least today's set is interesting.
It's interesting, and the workbench, which I like to call the piece of machinery they work on, is the couch. Because the other day I was here and I saw that hard table, and it was great because it felt so solid. But it wasn't until the next day when I went to sit back that I realized how hard it was, because I felt like my entire back was like bruised, but I didn't feel it during the scene, so it must have been such good sex.
Yeah, well, generally in porn I've found that if there's a bed in the room, you're probably going to have sex on the desk in the room, not the bed.
For sure, or the rock outside.
Yeah. All right, so here's some personal questions so we can get to know Lisa a little bit.
My birthday is May 9th, 1972. My favorite color is purple. Okay.
What's your Amazon wish list?
And I have an Amazon wish list, easily to find, with Lisa Ann.
All right, so you've been an adult entertainer since 1994. How do you think the industry's changed since the mid-90s?
It's actually before 1994, and I try to correct it on Wikipedia, and they just don't let it go. The early 90s, we'll say before the internet era, which everyone can we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now if that didn't happen yet. So, we are on the internet right now. We shot, there wasn't as much demand for product, so if you were a contract girl, which I was in the early 90s, you only shot one movie a month, but it was like a 3 or a 5-day adventure with dialogue and this and that. The industry has changed so much because of the internet. Also social media. I remember getting my mail at my P.O. box and actually sitting down on my living room floor hoping none of it was filled with anthrax and opening it and then writing back to people. And I had this little newsletter I used to do on Print Shop, and you put what you're selling this month. But it took time. And now it's like 142 characters, and I've communicated with you instantaneously, and I don't have to buy any paper supplies or anything. It's nice. So that's changed, and it's also allowed so many more different types of people to be in the business, so many more genres, and thank heavens that the MILF Cougar genre happened just in time.
Yes.
Ding!
What's been the highlight of your career to date?
What has been the highlight of my career to date? There are so many. There's many things I think about. Certain sporting events I've gotten to go to with certain people. Being in the Eminem video, pretty fucking awesome. There's been so many amazing, just 2 weeks ago I was on stage with Motley Crue and Kiss. It's just fun little things that happen, and I'm like, I just don't think these things would be happening if I was a librarian.
Probably not. So you had your own talent agency for several years. What was the most rewarding part? I couldn't even get it out without laughing. What was the most rewarding part of managing talent?
The most rewarding part of managing talent was the couple people that I was able to touch their lives and create a good way for them to view themselves in the industry, to take care of their money, plan for their future. But when I say a couple, I'm talking about over the span of 4 or 5 years, if I represent a couple hundred people because they come and go. I'm thinking maybe 5.
Yeah,
maybe 5. So that felt great. But it is a pretty tough job. No one realizes that one person's job all day long is just to call talent, make sure they're going to retest. And then they lie and say they're going. And then they don't go. And then the next day you're looking up their test, they're not answering their phone. You have to pay somebody to just do that all day long. It's kind of mind-numbing.
Yes, it is.
So it was a kind of frustrating existence. And I realize now it made me really value how good I have it, just doing scenes and being on the road feature dancing and just really being my own boss again, because even that business was really the boss of me. I wasn't my own boss.
Yeah, you're right.
It was a very nasty boss.
What was the incentive to close your agency?
When I started the agency, the whole Palin project hadn't come into my life yet, and as we all know, Sarah Palin completely changed my life, and it enabled me to be really active out on the road again and be doing personal appearances, and I got to travel to Finland as Palin, and you know, all these things were coming up, and it was like I couldn't pass up on these opportunities. And then the slow torture of, you know, the things that go wrong in the office and all the work that was involved with that. I was still doing all the books, and it was really demanding. And when it came time to renewing the lease, I thought, can I do this for another 5 years? Oh my God, the lease is 5 years long, and it really made me sit back and think about my life and seeing my friends and family more and having more time to just enjoy life instead of just like work, work, work.
Would you consider doing it again?
Most likely not.
What advice do you give to most frequently to new talent?
Oh, it's to try not to get wrapped up with the wrong people and the wrong things. Save your money. Pay your taxes should really be stamped on their hands every day for the first year of the business. Pay your taxes, because that will catch up with you. You know, numerous people that have had that problem. You know, it can be a really fun place if you understand that you are a true sexual being and you want to share yourself that way with the viewer and with people. And when you're out and about, you're going to interact with people that are your fans. They're going to walk up to you and ask you for a photo. And you got to really love it to be able to commit to knowing that it's kind of a 24/7 thing, you know? So I just hope that everyone does it for the right reasons. You can't just do it for the money. You have to really, really, really want to do it. And, you know, try not to meet some crazy suitcase pimp boyfriend who doesn't want to work but wants to spend all your money and drive your car. Saying stay out of jail. Don't call your agent to bail you out of jail. I'm not bailing you out. I got those calls. Remember, I was like, she owed me commission.
Yeah, I remember that night. I got the calls actually.
Jesus.